Bass Fox. Welcome to today's video, which is a quick first impressions video about the new Entropia or Entropia block. Just came out today, I think, for the Darkglass Anagram. I was very quick this morning to hook up my anagram to the computer and update it so that I could have this Entropia effect, which is a compression and distortion with a whole bunch of interesting parameters and interesting user interface for programming it and everything. First of all, let's quickly go over what my baseline sound is. I'm using kind of a real-world bass setting, very simple here. A little bit of gain in the beginning of the chain, and the Entropia goes after the gain. And then I have a Gallien-Kruger clone head over here and a modern speaker cabinet with 414 style microphone, on axis, cap on axis. So that's what's going on, and that's what this sounds like with my Carvin 6-string XB76 bass. I'm not using compression or EQ. Basically just an amp and a cab and a little bit of gain. So you're pretty much just hearing the way bass would sound amplified. I'm using no EQ at all. All the EQ is flat here. My pickup selector switch is in the middle, so I'm using neck pickup, bridge humbucker. And again, that's what it sounds like without Entropia. Now let's engage Entropia, right? I'm going to push in my push button here and I'm going to tap on it so we can see how the user interface looks like the built-in EQ, the end of chain EQ on the anagram. The 6 controls here are low comp, low level, mid drive, mid level, high drive, and high level. First of all, there are some templates here which are interesting. So let's have a quick listen to the different templates to see what kinds of sounds we can get with it. And then we're going to dive a little deeper and look at the settings, okay? So this one is called Glass Drive, Entropia Defaults, Glass-like Clarity. So pick. Okay, so that's Glass Drive. Next one is called Hard Rock Bite. Mid-forward distortion to fit and cut through a dense rock mix. So let's hear what that's like. Fingers. What about with just the bridge humbucker? Back to middle position. Let's go to tube tone. Tube tone is tube amp-like, low gain breakup, warm and woolly. So just tap on there. It's darker, right? nice. This is more vintage sounding in my opinion. My dogs are going crazy. Let's try to-be tone with a pickup, with a pick, I mean. Nice, I like it. This one's called Nasty Attack. Want to be heard and still support the low end? Nice, so this is gonna have obviously a nasty attack, but it's gonna have a lot of that low end still left in there. Okay, here's Nasty Attack with fingers. Nice, I like Nasty Attack. Let's check it out with a pick. Cool. All right, now let's move on to number 5 here, which is Panic. This one says, there was a muse that inspired this crazy overdriven sound. I wonder what that muse might have been. I wonder who the muse that inspired the sound could have been. Let's find out. Like when it's coming from silence, that first hit is sounding very loud. I think it's because my gain on my preset might be set a little too loud. All right. That might be better. All right, let's go back to Entropia and back to the templates. So, all right, we're in that Panic template here. I like how it breaks up when the sustain starts to fall. Nice, and the last template is Alpha and Omega. Combines middle drive from Alpha to the high end of Omega. Best of both worlds. So let's hear that with fingers. nice, just some nice drives with the pick. Cool. All right, so let's go back to the default, right? Entropia default, that's the glass drive template. And we'll close the template here. Now we're gonna have a look at setting it. You know, what things can you do? So right here on the front panel, we have low comp, low level, mid drive, mid level, high drive, high level. So we can immediately use the knobs to control these parameters here, right? So here's more low. Now if I want a little less highs, here we have the mid, more mids, less mids, and we can have the mid drive more or drive less. By the way, so right there is quite a bit you can do already. Reduce the mid drive, maybe reduce the low compression and lower the level here. Those more like dry, right? Like the normal bass sound. Still provide quite a bit of low end, but then you get that nice bright top to give you presence. Now there are 3 little buttons over here, one for each main frequency: low, mid, and high. Right, so we can go to low here, and now we have 6 parameters just for the low end. So one of them is compressor type. Right now we're in FET, right? So like an 1176. And there's SCI. Honestly, I have to admit, I don't know what SCI stands for. And bypass. So you can have no compression on the low end. You can have the FET compression, or you can have the SCI compression. And then you have some presets for attack and release. So fast and fast, fast and medium, fast and slow, medium and fast, medium, medium, medium and slow, and then slow and fast. So yeah, there's all of these. Basically, any combination of fast, medium, and slow attack and release is available. You don't have continuous controls, but you do have quite a few preset options here. Let's try fast attack and slow release on an FET compressor. How much compression, right? The amount of compression. So this is probably a combination of a ratio and oh no, this is, I think, probably actually just threshold, because we do have a compressor ratio over here, right? So there's a 20 to 1, 12 to 1, 8 to 1, 4 to 1. So there's some presets here as well. And we can turn up the level, and we can balance how much low end we want between the low compression and low level settings. And when you play, well, when you touch any controls, you see the graphic overlay here of what's going on there. Cool. And there's also a low pass frequency, right? So there's a solo button here. So now we're only hearing our low end. if you do this and turn off the low pass, this plugin could actually be a bit of a solution to the compressor problem on the Anagram, right? A lot of people have been complaining none of the compressors quite do much, and this one does. Alright, so let's filter off a little bit here, and we'll go to the mid frequency. Let's solo it as well. So now we're hearing, you know, mid-level. There are the high pass and low pass frequencies, so here we can decide exactly what the boundaries of our mids are here. We can choose the drive type. So we have bypass, no drive. We have B3K, and there are 2 drive modes for that. Flat, grunt, no, there's quite a few actually. Mid boost, and both. So we have flat, grunt, I like grunt. Let's go to VMT. You have different drive modes for each drive type. So there's mid boost 1, mid boost 2, and both. There's the alpha. So you have growl, bite, and both. Both is nice. Alright, we have the mid-level here, so we can turn that up compared to the bass, so we can unsolo now. Right, and we have the omega type as well. We also have growl and bite for this, and both. Now there's a mode here called chinchilla, and the chinchilla, there's this synth setting. So people have been complaining about the lack of synth module here, what they call blocks. This one kind of does it. We can let all the frequencies pass pretty much and only use the mid here. And this is kind of a, oh, here we have, yeah, we have the synth mode on chinchilla. I mean, it's not quite a synth. Maybe if we put an envelope filter after it, you do get kind of a square wave kind of a sound. Alright, let's bring filter off some lows here again. Now let's have a look. Oh, what else is there? There's B3 turbo. So you have grunt and mid boost, both. There's VMT turbo. Also got a mid boost 2, 1, 1, both. There's alpha turbo, omega turbo. Alpha turbo, you get growl and bite, and both. Let's solo it. Let's go to omega turbo. You get flat, growl, and turn up the mid drive more. And bite. Sounding brutal and gnarly and all sorts of good stuff. There's compressor. Oh, we're back to low end here. Let's go to the high, right? And we'll solo it. So right now, there's also chinchilla on the high. So we have a lot of the same, I think it's the same, it's all the same drive types and modes as on the mids. So mids and highs. Now the only thing is, now we have high level and high pass frequency and low pass frequency as well. So we can still narrow down what frequencies we want for this high end here, right? So that's on solo now. It's nice. Quite a bit of sustain there. Nice. This is pretty good sound right here. I'm enjoying it. Let's go back to mid. This is what mid is sounding like. And the low end, this is what the low end is sounding like. It's just giving me that nice punchy. Right? So we unsolo it. And if we now go, we just close that, we just hit that low button again. And then we're back to the main screen where we have some of the main controls. So we have basically the EQ, the volumes, right? The mixing for all three bands. So you have low level, mid level, and high level. Right? So you can really balance out your sound there. But you also have the drives and compression. So only the low band has compression, right? So you can set how much you want to compress that low band there and maybe boost it. The more you compress it, the lower the volume will be, so you have to make up for it with the low level control. Listen to that sustain. And I'm not even feedbacking because I barely have any volume on my PJB speakers there. I already like my setting here better than any of the templates. And also you have the drive controls. So how much you want to drive the mid and high frequencies, right? Very nice. Now, when you drive it, obviously you start getting a little bit of hiss, right? So maybe, just maybe, we might want to have a noise gate here. So, is that going to be in dynamics or utilities? Let's find out. Yeah, noise suppressor right there, and noise suppressor should probably be before the amp. Right there. There we go. I don't navigate so well with my left hand, folks. So, or maybe even before the, there we go. Noise suppressor before the Entropia, and already we have much quieter. And when we play, see, and we can turn up the noise suppressor, the threshold, and even more silent. And it's still sensitive enough to where even if I play fairly softly, it goes through. But if you're playing with this distortion, you're probably going to be digging in anyway. So this is it. Cuts off the noise. Now, just out of curiosity, let's hear what this sounds like without the amp. Like if it was straight line out. It sounds cool too. I do prefer going through an amp. Last thing I want to try is, like I mentioned, the possibility of using this more like a synth sound if we use an envelope filter, right? So that could be this one. This is an envelope filter right here. There we go. This sounds more synthy-like. So let's go choose the chinchillas for this guy here. We're gonna go drive type chinchilla, and we'll choose synth, right? And we'll do the same for the high. So that's already chosen chinchilla there, and we'll choose synth here. Let's pass a little more of the low frequency on the high there, and bring up the mid-level a little bit. And let's see if this is a convincing synth bass sound. Nice. Not exactly synth bass. I mean, I have the Future Impact V4 over there, which is actually an actual synth. It tracks the pitch and triggers an internal synthesizer. You can do pads and chords and real Moog kind of bass stuff. So that's more appropriate if you're really looking for synth sounds. Eventually, I'm sure the Anagram will have something similar to that, hopefully. For now, this kind of does the job okay, but mostly I think it's really cool as distortion. It's a really malleable, very flexible kind of distortion that you can dial in the exact parameters and sounds that you want per band, with a nice punchy bass with compression, and even just as a compressor. We can use it as just a compressor if we only use the low end. And that's easy to do. All you have to do is turn mid-level all the way down, high level all the way down, and then you go to the low here and turn up the low pass so it's off, right? And now all you have is a nice compressor. Low pass a little bit. Now, if we're using it like this, we probably want the noise suppressor threshold to be a little lower, right? Because we're not distorting anymore, and now So yeah, cool, Entropia. Thank you very much, Darkglass, for a very welcome addition to the wonderful Anagram. And that's it, folks. I've been Bass Fox. See you soon, and feel the vibration.